Let's take a minute to talk about the software market as a whole. This has been a topic that has been coming up more and more. More and more people have been asking me directly questions about this. And it's a topic that I honestly like. I dodge a lot because I don't want to be responsible for, like anybody's future choices or their future decisions. I'm not a sage. I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, and I could absolutely be wrong with my opinions. So with that, my opinions on this are completely my opinions. They're shaped by a lot of experience with this, as I'll go into, but they are, at the end of the day, just my opinions. So I think about this by asking the question, would I get into IT today if I were 18? A lot of people ask me that question. I wouldn't. That's the answer that I would give. I would choose a different career. And so when I was 18, I had a girlfriend, and her dad was in the printing industry, in the print, he ran big printing presses. And he was big Apple guy, right? Like I would have never worked for Apple. I would have never gotten as big into Apple if it weren't for him. And he was a big proponent of computers. He had my girlfriend's house. They had the G3 iMac, and so I got to play around with that and all of that, all because of him, right? And his work became more and more digital as the head of a printing press, right? He had 30, 40 years of experience in the printing industry. And then as these computers that he's more and more fascinated with take over more and more of his job, printing as a role becomes less and less valuable. Uh, and then so all of a sudden, someone with 20, 30 years of printing experience is absolutely worthless. And then so in a span of, it was 5 years, he went from a six-figure salary to $8 an hour. It was $8 an hour jobs, and barely above minimum wage at the time. Minimum wage at the time was 5.75 an hour. And I remember thinking about this. This man was in his 50s, and so he went through this, right? And I saw it. It was just a small, slow, very slow, but also very rapid shift and a change, and his entire life changed overnight, right? He never recovered from it because, what do you do at 50 in your 50s when your whole entire career just shifts out from under you? And so when I got into IT, I very specifically along the lines of IT, I had a choice to make. I was early on in my career, kind of splitting the line, right? I had technology experience and then also marketing experience. So I was a hardware and desktop technician early on, and then I also did sales and marketing early on, and then so I had both. And then I decided, when I was around, when I was younger, which path do I want to take within this? And then I looked at them both, and then I saw marketing as paying more upfront, but then having a lower ceiling, and then IT having a much higher ceiling, paying more opportunities overall, etc. And then so more stable long term. And so for all of those reasons, I went heavy into IT over marketing, and I don't regret it. Right, I've had a good career. I've made six figures for about a decade, and so uh, I can't complain overall uh, of that choice. I would make it again if I had to make that choice again 18 years, 20, a lot of years ago. But if I was to make the choice again, at 18 now, I would not make the same choice. I would um, look at myself as my girlfriend's dad in this instance, flat out, as the software industry going away. I mean, here's this article that has been, and this headline that has been looking at us here for this entire time, right? So far in 2025, 46 tech companies have announced job cuts, resulting in 11,664 employees being laid off. I mean, Meta's layoffs come in early February, but essentially for the month of January, that's 12,000 tech layoffs on top of the 200,000 last year, on top of the 200,000 the year before. It's a major trend, and it's not going away, right? Like exactly what I saw for the printing industry and the printing press 20 plus years ago is happening again now, right? And then when my girlfriend's father was going through that, he mentioned that it was a pattern and that there were other industries and that this is just, a pattern of things. And then looking back on that and looking back on these things, like the overinflated salaries within the IT sector are something new, right? Like I've been in IT since like before the dot-com bust, the original dot-com bust, and for a lot of years, it was like IT help desk was like what you were, right? And the IT help desk didn't, and I assume still doesn't pay much above minimum wage. Like it's not a very high paid role as opposed to a lot of the other roles that have kind of built themselves up within IT. And then so I think like a lot of what you're seeing now is just that shaking out, like the equation of the salaries of IT as a whole coming down to earth. I 100% do not anticipate that they're going to go back up. Like I think that this is all of this is very calculated. I think it's being driven, and I think that there's nothing within the market that's stopping it. Right? There's an oversaturation of IT workers and software workers currently in the status quo, or you wouldn't be seeing these problems. And then so. Market demand versus supply, and it's just how it is working out. Does AI play a factor within this? Yes, I think that AI plays a factor within it, right? But I don't think that AI is the driving factor behind these layoffs. I think AI is the secondary factor behind these layoffs. There's someone I know, and they made a very good quotation around this, which is that AI isn't the reason why you're losing your job, or AI isn't the reason why your job is being cut, but AI is the reason why your job might not get rehired. That's kind of the equation that these companies are looking at, right? They're not cutting because of AI and forward-looking cut with their cuts because of AI, but they are forward-looking with their hiring because of AI, and that's what you're seeing right now in the market. And that's like, I think that is causing a big shift, and that has caught a lot of people off guard in and of itself, right? I think it's until I just framed it in that sense, I didn't have it framed in that sense for myself, but that's exactly what it is, right? Companies are. I still think it's true that they're not looking towards AI with regards towards these firing and these layoffs, because AI is not there yet. But they are when it comes to the hiring end, right? And very specifically, you see that it's a lot of chains and gears that are being pulled on that lever on the hiring side, right? And then that is because of anticipation of, well, it's going to take 6 months to a year to bring a worker up to speed. What's AI going to look like 6 months to a year from now? And then that is 100% impacting and affecting this equation, I think. And that's going to continue to impact and affect this equation moving forward. And a lot of people are going to have to grapple with that overall. What is my overall opinion on that? What does that all shake out to at the end of the day? I think that shakes out to essentially less jobs in every sector. I think it's a pipe dream 100% that you will be able to eliminate all humans in all roles. Right? Like at the point where you're eliminating humans in roles, there's no point for the role. And I don't think that we'll actually be able to get to that. And we'll find more and more that you want human in the middle in these frameworks, right? Like I don't understand why so many people are trying and going for like full autonomy, like they see 100% autonomy as the eventual goal. I think that we're a long ways off from 100% autonomy in these things. We're a very short ways off, though, from 95% autonomy in these things, and that's where a lot of the bottom line of this boils down to, right? Is that so? And that's, I think, the part of the equation that people are under preparing for, and what you're seeing in the market kind of pricing into these expectations, where you future roles where you'll have a lot of positions being one person in the middle of like 5 AI agents, or a one person in the middle of a complete system, right? Like I'm replacing workers with IT and ML and AI systems combined together within that and coupled together. And I'm eliminating human workforce, but not eliminating completely the human in the middle equation. I think that more and more that's going to be the model moving forward. And that's not a good model for the current working class. And I don't know a simple way around that or an answer around that, right? I mean, very specifically, I have put my money where my mouth is on this for the last 2 years. I saw this equation on the wall, and I've been saying this message for 2 years and preaching it myself, right? And I've seen it, I've gone through it. So, in the last year and a half, it's before. So I mean, I have 20 plus years of experience overall, right? And then so my very first beyond three interviews was about a year and a half ago, and the first time it shocked me. I was like, what the heck, more than 3 interviews? We're going into 4 or 5. And then that was crazy to me, right? And then not hearing back for 2 weeks, it was a sudden and very not subtle shift as to this is how it's going to be for you, guy. And I personally, I don't take well to that, right? I reacted to that immediately, and then I can say flat out, I have not built my career out to the best of my potential. Within my IT career, right? If I were to build out my IT career differently, I'd brown nose a lot more, and I'd pay a lot more. I would pay a lot more attention towards networking and connections. So the bottom line, it's all about networking and connections. So if you're here worried, what can you do? You can network and you can connect. That's the one thing that you have more control over in the situation than anything else. And I mean, to me, that's not enough. That's a false control of the lever. I would rather just go play a different game. And that's my part of the equation. But I understand a lot of people, they're okay with that. And then so that's the game overall. It's just network very well and brown nose pretty good and play politics well, right? It's all politics. A lot of politics, and being able to navigate and surf through that. But that's essentially the navigating your actual career doesn't change to me. It hasn't changed in 20 years, 40, 50, 60 years. I read books from 100 years ago for career advice, and it's all and they talk about career politics, etc. It's all the same in that regard. None of this to me actually none of the equations actually change. It's just the game gets harder overall. And that's kind of where we're at now as the game gets more and more optimized, right? And then we're in late stage capitalism. And then so we're pretty well optimized as far as the game goes. And AI is going to optimize it even more. And I don't think that anything is going to slow that down or stop that, right? So I guess leaving this, where would I look towards if I were 18? Flat out, when I grew up, growing up, my uncle was a painter, right? And he owned a painting company, and he would often make me do hard work painting because he would always say I want you to hate this work so that you never want to do physical work because it's the worst work ever, right? And I took that to mind, and that's why I got into IT, because it's okay, I'm going to be behind a desk all day, and so now at 20 years on, I have that envy of the physical laborer, right? Man, that person is free. They get to go outside and they're working all day, and they get the sun on them all day, and they get to actually not be tethered to a desk, and they're actually living life to me. And the grass is always greener. But so I don't see anything wrong with that career path, and overall, and I see more and more opportunity in that career path as there's it's a career that not a lot of people gravitate towards, right? But the trades, I know a lot of people, and I've met a lot of people in the trades throughout my career, etc., that they make a lot of money that you wouldn't expect. Just by keeping their nose down and doing the actual physical work, and that's that's the path. I would go that route, flat out, painting, plumbing, HVAC, something in the physical trades, mechanics, and I would build up my experience in physical trades and away from computers. I just would. I think the asset of computer skills is going to be worth less and less. It's going to be my girlfriend's father in the printing press, right? It's going to be barely above a minimum wage role because there's going to be so many people that will have the skill set. That's my hypothesis. Within this, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, right? Like, if I'm wrong, then it's wonderful overall for me in the long term. So I do hope I'm wrong. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.